Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life.
A Professor Sunreis Productions!
Hello class, Professor Sunreis. In today's class, we're taking a look at the Bystial Dangling deck I've been using like the last week or so. I went to a regional last Saturday. Sadly, I did not top. My record was actually pretty good. If you think about it, I went 5-1-2. I only draw and lost one, which was technically a draw in the last round. It basically came out to the same because of time issues. So this is one thing I have to take a look with the deck, how I beat the time. So other than that, I basically, if there was no time rule, I would have won all of my matches, just because in all of those matches in the time I was heavily in favor of winning the game from just from a gameplay stand to you. I had more resources, I had more tempo on board, stuff like that. So actually I'm very happy with how the deck planned out. I would still change a few things here and there, but I'm gonna take over those. But most importantly, I just have to get a time win condition. I think this deck would perform insanely well. So without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave some feedback down in the comment section below, and let's get right into the profile. So here we are in the actual profile. Let's just go card by card and take a look at what I've been playing and my reason for it. So for the Bystial engine, I did play 3 Lubellion. This is by far the best Bystial, especially because we're so combo heavy. We are always looking for some nice extenders, and this card gives us those. Magnum, of course, you want to resolve that shit. This is our grind game. 3 Saronia and 1 Drewsworm. And Drewsworm is the payoff of the engine. Getting into the Branded Beast plus Drewsworm is the disruption the engine offers, apart from the hand trap effect. And Saronia is just better at getting plays going because it can both send Rebellion to get us into the Bystial engine with just normal dragons, because we can send different dragons for the Rebellion as well, or it can send a Branded Regain for us to get full combo and then just completely shit on the opponent because we are plussing in every turn so hard. So I really like this ratio, and actually for now I would actually like to play all of the Bystials in the main deck, just because the elements is still super prevalent, of course, and they're just amazing hand traps, and I kind of missed a few of the Bystials, but I was also a little bit unlucky on that department where I just didn't draw enough Bystials. Then for the spell traps, I played 1 Regained and 1 Branded Beast. In a deck like this, playing 2 Regained just is excessive. What it would be very good, it's not really needed because we have different engines as well, which can give us different forms of grind. So we do not need the Branded Regain. While a 2 would be cool, we just need the Spade for different stuff, I think. But this is something which is in my mind, which I would like to maybe play. Now for the Chaos stuff, or like the generic Dragon stuff, I guess, 3 Chaos base, 3 Safer. These are the best cards in the deck. If we see them, we usually win just because they're so broken, especially Safered. Then the 2 Chaos Dragons. 1 Chaos Dragon Armageddon, Chaos Imperator, the Dragon of Armageddon. This card is really good. It's basically a guarantee +1 if you have the setup, because it adds you a banished dragon, and then you can just have a free special summon. You can use this to summon your Lubellion. So if you have this plus Terrania, you can actually get into your Bystial engine with that. Just overall a really strong card. You see I play no Levinia. In hindsight, it would have come up a lot on the regional where I could have sent a Levinia with the Dragon Ravine. But I'm still not sure how I could fit it in, because there are just so many cards you want to play, and I really want to stay on the 40. So Levinia is something which could come up, and also a Black Metal Dragon plus a Red Rise Darkness Metal Dragon, because I bricked a few times. I had like 2 or 3 games where I just could not play because I had no normal summon or way to get a dragon on the board. So these are a few of the things which I'd like to change. So a Levy, a Black Metal Dragon plus Red Rise Darkness Metal Dragon, and a time win condition are basically the things which I would have liked to change. 1 Noctivision. Would like to play this 2 as well. This card is insane, but we only play 1, so we can send Absarauda. So if you have Absarauda plus Safer, we can use Safer to send Absarauda. Search Noctivision, have like an insane combo. Now for the Rockets, 3 Quick Launch, 2 Tracer, 1 Recharger, 1 Abs, and then the Ravine and the Boot Sector. This is, I think, pretty standard. I don't think playing a second target is optimal for the Tracer, just because it is an additional brick and we want to minimize those. If we hard draw this, or if you hard draw too many of these pieces, we just opt to go for Ravine plus Savage instead of full comboing, because sometimes we can still full combo with that, but it's just too much resource investment. And Seal plus Savage is still plenty strong, especially against the elements, because you usually will save that 1 Bystial in your hand, which you would use to extend, and then you have just as much disruption against the opponent. So I really like the Rocket package. I did give it some slack before because it is so bricky, and it still is. There's still so many bricks in there, so all of these you don't really want to draw. I mean, these two are really bad, and these two can work if you have a discard, or if you have like a weird hand where you don't want to go for Ravine. So these are fine to draw, but these are just bad to draw. But it is fine. It's only 2 bricks. The Bystial control deck was of course insane because it basically played no brick apart from Branded Beast. And we played 2 additional ones. It is okay. It's still a playable amount of bricks, I would say. So yeah, other than that, the engine was good. I could consider myself cutting out 1 quick launch just because it's a little excessive to have that many because you will always search them. And a quick launch is not really that much better than a trace in this just because we play with the business. We play so many extenders, we don't need it. And you could cut 1 of the quick launch and then play get some space for the Black Metal Dragon and the Red Ice Darkness Metal Dragon and stuff like that. But this is just theory crafting. I will go over changes in my stream, or I will just test and play out and see what I could fit and what not. For the hand traps, generic ones, I played 3 Veiler. This is light, so this is insane. This came in clutch to all day. And 3 Imperm. This is also really good. It does conflict with Bystials, but usually you will Imperm the Kid Carlos and then Bystial the rest, or against everything else you use your Imperm first and the Bystials afterwards. This is pretty standard. But Veiler definitely better than Imperm in this deck just because it is a light and helps us unbreak our Bystials going second against decks which don't play lights and darks. And then lastly, 3 Talents. This card was insane. I was a little scared that it would brick me because it is Talents, and you know how Talents and Druids were always trying to brick you, but Talents, I drew it so often and it won me so many games. I would definitely still play it at 3. This card was overperforming the whole tournament. So, for the extra deck, 40 cards main deck, by the way. If I don't have a set it just because we want to see our strongest spells and monsters, of course. For the extra deck, Striker Dragon, Pisty, Ravine, Triple Burst, and Borderland for the main combo. I did not play the quad barrel stuff because I figured if I only have Sacred, I would probably don't want to extend into a quad barrel line just because it takes just as many resources, because it just trades the 1 generic extender we have into 1 discard from hand. So it basically takes as many resources as that, and most importantly, it just didn't feel right to sacrifice so much of the extra deck to go into a very fragile combo, because usually I have to play around 1 hand trap, so the amount of times where I think that would have come up is just not really there, where the opponent didn't have any hand traps, and then we can end on Boral and Savage Dragon. We can also just end on Seal Savage and stuff like that, which is just as strong into plenty matchups for now because there's no Kashtira, so I don't think the quad barrel stuff is needed at the moment. Maybe in the future with Kashtira, you really want to always have that barrel end, but who knows from that. 2 Seal. I would still play Seal. It came up a little bit if we wanted the second Seal, because this deck still heavily grinds, but doesn't have that much emphasis on the Branded Regain stuff. So recycling a Seal is just not as doable in this list. So the second Seal did come up a little bit. 1 Phoenix, never made it. I would definitely cut this one for the Scarlight, which the Synchro for the Burn. So we have a time win condition because I just never made the Phoenix. In theory, this is very good because it can outplay, like there can only be 1 and stuff like that, but it just didn't come up, so I probably cut it. Maybe I could also cut the Masquerena, which was the second thing. Also did not come up, but I could have made it a few times. The Phoenix just didn't have any usage, so either of those will probably get cut. And then 1 Dark Unicorn Access Code. These cards are insane, of course. Would never cut them. 1 Tomb. This card is also really strong because it lets you tutor out like all of the dragons and basically makes 2 Bystials like a starter combo. So that's really good. And then for the Synchros, 1 Savage Dragon and 1 Barone. Barone was okay. In testing I made it way more often than it actually did. But usually you already win if you are in the position to make a Barone, but you only win because you can make a Barone at that point. So I think it's correct to play it. And then 1 Savage to end on. Card is decent. It's not really that broken anymore. It used to be way better, but just an negate, not even destroy, is not really that strong. But it's very nice to have a way to interact with the spell traps now. So you can negate the field spell, for example, of the T elements, which is very helpful in grind games because this deck grinds like crazy, of course. And this helps you protect your barrel end from nasty spell traps out, which is really good. So that's the extra deck. Now for the side deck. Side deck was actually pretty good. I didn't play against Flunder. I only basically played against Sprite and T Elements, and then a little bit Sword Soul, and I think that's basically it. Yeah, I played against 1 Plunder, I guess, but that's Plunder Brave, so that's it. But yeah, for the side deck, 3 Lightning Storm. I don't think I sided this in. I sided this in against Plunder, I think. But yeah, this was mainly against Floodgate decks and Flunder, so it didn't really come up, but in testing it was insane. 3 Rivalry, this card was insane. Every time I drew it, I basically won the game because I had some sort of end board. Most of the time it was Savage Borderland, but sometimes it was Seal Savage, plus a Rivalry, and the opponent just cannot win against that. And that's really insane. 3 Gamma, card was insane. Have not seen Driver at all, but basically every time I started this in, I saw it. Sometimes I saw 2 Gamma, I guess, but other than that, this card was completely nuts. 3 Draw started this only in against Plunder, and it was an auto win against that because it had Rivalry this plus full combo, so they couldn't do shit. But other than that, this was against Flunder. Did not play against that deck, so I was fine. But I would still play this card because it is basically the best thing I can do against Flunder. Completely shuts off their turn. They cannot basically do anything. And if they have Shifter, I cannot play anything at all, so I might as well take that risk and just play the Drill, which is the best Floodgate against them, or the best hand trap. And then lastly, for the last 2 slots, I played the 2 Jerusalem, which are not in the main deck, just because against the elements, you still, of course, want all of the Bystials we have at the disposal. Yeah, like I said, I missed them in the main deck, but I don't think it is worth it to play all of them in the main deck right now, just because the meta is switching a little bit, or at least here in Europe, like a plethora of the early ones you wouldn't play against the elements, and it's only in the later rounds that you play against that. And I don't want to heavily over prepare myself for that matchup if I know other hand traps are just as good. And I still play a lot of defensive cards. I had 9 generic hand traps plus 7 Bystials, so that's 16 hand traps. Still pretty decent. So the 2 Jerusalem in the side deck are not that bad in my opinion. So that's it for the profile. Like I said, what I would change is the Phoenix or the Masquerena out for a time win condition, because then I would have basically went undefeated at the regional. Theoretically, of course, I would have played against different opponents, but yeah. Other than that, the deck was pretty insane, though I would still change a few things, apart from the Scarlight or the win condition. Like I said, the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon plus 1 Black Metal Dragon is very interesting because the deck can use some starters. Someone in the comments also talked about that. Yeah, I agree, the deck can use some extra starters. And the Levy Dragon would also be very good because actually, it would have come up a little bit, but I don't know how to fit any of those. I really want to stay at 40, maximum 41, and these are 3 cards which I want to add, and I have at maximum 1 card which I think I could cut out of the main deck for now. Once we are in the T Elements in the Kashtira era of the format, maybe we can cut out 1 Serenia, or maybe even 2, and play less of those, but until then, I don't know how to fit the cards I want to fit in this deck. But yeah, that's on my duty. Maybe I can somehow fit it, maybe not. I will definitely keep you guys updated on that. Class is dismissed. You guys are free to leave. Professor Sunreis out. Peace.